Welcome. Today we're in the middle of the time of year where people start thinking about what's going to happen in September.
Yes.
Because we're in August right now. And what we're going to teach you today is
a lot of kids heading off to college, empty nests.
Yep. And what we're going to teach you today is evergreen, but specific at this time of year because we're thinking about this. So if your nest is emptying, maybe your youngest child is going off to college, maybe you're almost at that point and you're considering what to do next. We want to put the bug in your ear. This is a great time to relaunch your career.
Yes. Yeah. So one of the questions you might be asking yourself is, you don't know what to, like, what am I going to do with my time? What am I going to do with all of this time? And I think you have some really good stories around this.
I've had so many people reach out to me over the years. My niche has always been moms who are caregivers, but secondary population, which has swelled over the years, is people who've retired and don't know what to do with their time. So if you remember, the paradigm that we were kind of still working in was that you retired at 62 or 65 and then you were dead at 70. And I mean, I know, but that's really the way it was a generation or two ago. It's not like that now. We live, I think you and I are expected to live to 88.
I know.
So from 62 to 88 is a really long time not to work.
And there's a lot of life.
Oh my gosh,
right?
So for two reasons. One is you might be thinking, what are you going to do with your time? How much golf can you play?
Right.
How many lunches can you do?
Right.
Right. So there's a lost community when your nest empties, because these people may not be your best friends, but they're the people you're seeing every day at bus stops, at PTO meetings, on the sidelines, and suddenly you don't have access to them anymore. And I know this because I've experienced it. So one reason for considering going back to work is just to continue to have community and to build some new community with coworkers.
Yes. And there's a lot of, there's good organizations like Revel that we've worked with that keep you connected.
Encore. Encore is a great one. They actually pair people with good business skills with nonprofits. So you can look those up, revel.org, revel.com and encore.org are two organizations. But I've had people come to me and say, I just don't know what to do with my time. I need to work.
I know.
Now you may not need to work in the same capacity, right? But you might want to be doing something with your time.
Yes.
And work is a great way to meet people, use your brain and make some money.
Yeah. And once you've launched your children into the world, or and your caregiving responsibilities have been dialed back, it's a really good time to take stock of your financial situation and really where you're at that point, when you can breathe a little bit.
My husband is an estate and financial planner, and I trust him. I never ever looked at our finances. I was just like, I have 4 kids, I'm busy.
We don't give that advice.
Terrible advice. God forbid he ever left me. I would have been like, in hot water. But when Luke left, was the first time that I said, maybe we should just sit down and look at this stuff. And we actually hired one of his colleagues, one of the people that he's starting, because he's in the process of retiring, of handing his clients to, and we work with him. We're in Connecticut, but he's in Chicago. And it was a time for us to look at it. And, obviously he's a financial planner, so we're in good shape, but it was like, oh, well, boy, but if you continue working, then we don't have to touch any of this yet. And we both come from, knock on wood, families where, people live a long time. So there can be a financial, maybe not a financial imperative, because you may have a good retirement, but a financial incentive to continue to make some money so that you can do maybe bigger, grander things than you'd originally planned, and continuing to work over time, maybe 5 years, maybe 10. My mother is 85. She is an MSW in private practice, and she's still, she's just she tried to retire.
And then she came back.
Yes. And then she came back. So she's doing a very small amount of clients, but being able to scale down and kind of slowly off ramp your work as you get into those senior years. But boy, it's a long time to not work from 65 to 85.
Yeah. All right. This last one, you may not recognize this, but we as career experts and, playing in this lane know this to be true, that an empty nester distinction could actually be your superpower. So
really on two fronts. One is because you're an empty nester and you've done these things during your time at home. You've planned large events, you've run organizations, you've maybe started or led a nonprofit. You've been a caregiver, maybe you've done elder care, you've navigated the healthcare system. You have a lot of skills. And so part of your superpower is, if you look at what most companies are really targeting as key skills,
Mhm.
they're not so much the hard skills anymore because they're a moving target.
Right.
Things are changing so quickly, and companies are willing to train you as long as you've got some acumen, you're able, savvy enough to learn new things. But they can't really train you in some of those innate qualities and things that you've really perfected, the organizing, the planning, the leadership, that you have those skills. So that's part of your superpower. The other part of your superpower is you're available.
Yes.
So if I'm leading a team and my whole team is 40, I've got people at the busiest times of their life.
Yeah.
I can't expect them. I would never ask them to work extra hours, to take an extra project, to do more travel, because those are the hard years. You've got young kids, you're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
But at 60,
and you as the leader may be in that position
yourself.
In your life,
that's right. But the 60-year-old coming to work, whose kids are all in college or out, whose parents are cared for or, deceased or whatever the situation is, that person's available.
Yeah.
And we teach a separate course on multi-level, multi-generational workplaces. They're the best ones because you've got overlay and coverage during periods of life. So whereas when you were 40, you might have been afraid to mention that you had children. Now you should lead with, I'm an empty nester. My kids are gone. I'm available. I can help you pick up the slack. I've got the energy. I certainly have the resume, but I've got the availability now to help your team. So that's
Hence,
your superpower.
Your superpower.
Exactly.
Your superpower. We have tons of resources for this, but we are going to actually do a second part for our empty nesters out there on the how to, and we'll have some templates.
How to even get started, because once you get to this point, you're thinking, okay,
yes,
I have the why. Relaunching my career is a really good idea. You need to give a little guidance on the how. So we'll be back with that soon.
Yeah. So there you have it. Why relaunching your career now that you have an empty nest is a great idea. If you liked what you heard today, you can like and subscribe. We give new content. We put new content out every Monday. And if you want to learn more about our company, Prepare to Launch You, you can visit us at www.preparetolaunchu.com.